Hello, prancers and pick stickers. My name is TV Skyn. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where I wasn't actually planning to record any of this today, because I've been assembling IKEA furniture and I'm kind of tired, but on the other hand, I don't have anything else in my head right now except Final Fantasy XIV, and getting to actually play Heavensward, which I want to do. Like, I'm recording this late on a Sunday evening, so I can't be as loud as I usually am, because, you know, neighbors. But I also, when I stream again on Friday, which I'm probably going to do, which is going to be in the past from the perspective of you as you're listening to this YouTube episode, but it's in the future from the perspective of the people in the chat who are listening to me right now, when on the Friday that's going to be coming, which is going to have been in the past, I am going to have had recording done. I want to start Heavensward in the weekend that is next, relative to me, but not relative to you. Right? Yeah, that's the thing I want to do. So I just want to get this out of the way before the next week, so I can actually we finish the class story with the Dragoon, so I can see what it is, and then we can go and do Heavensward, the part where the game gets good. Oh man, it never gets less funny talking about. Oh, thank you, foolish mortals, for that subscription. Time travel, indeed. It never gets less funny to talk about, yes, the part where the game gets good when I'm now like 170 hours into this nonsense. As if it hasn't been good for a while. It has been, but as I've talked about many times, less because of the game and more because of, well, weirdos like that person over there. Anyway, hello. I've been expecting you, Brick. You've been training hard, I trust. I would set your next trial one more dangerous than any you have faced before. But I would not send an unprepared man to his death. Before we proceed, we must needs verify your progress with mine own eyes. Thank you, Volshin TM. Thank you for that Prime subscription. You will face 3 experienced Lancers in single combat. Defeat each one in succession, and you will prove yourself fit to undertake the trial. Arm yourself and take your place in the training arena. We begin when you are ready. I'm a little over-leveled, but fair enough. Oh, it's gonna sink me back down. Wait, hang on. Oh, that's nothing interesting, I see. Aw, down to 24. But all my over-leveling. How dare you? Oh, he's level 14. Well, yeah, okay. Sorry, buddy. You're about to have a bad time. Bonk. Well done, Brick. You just murdered 3 people. Now, let's go bury the bodies out back. Impressive, Brick. Most impressive. You are ready to face the trial.
/ninja if you ever just want to have a meme of a quest line.
Oh, really? Thank you for the resubscription, Soli, by the way. Rogue Ninja for a meme of a quest line. Well, well. Eventually, I'm sure I will. Yet, I did not exaggerate when I said it would be dangerous. Make no mistake, to take this test is to risk death. Knowing this, do you still wish to proceed? No, I'm gonna quit, actually. I don't... Yeah, obviously I'm gonna go. You disappoint me. Back again, are you? I can figure who it is. That man is the only soul in this pathetic excuse for a guild who shows any promise. Which is why I counseled him to leave you. Alas, he chose to remain in your house of cravens. Such a waste. This guild has outlived its purpose, and I mean to see its doors shut and barred for good. If you wish to object, I invite you to do so with lance in hand. What exactly is it that you think you're gonna do, my dude? Like, say, yes, I'm gonna march in. I was like, yes, you are now shut down with the authority of what exact? Who? You and what army? You do not want for confidence, sir. But answer me this. What grudge do you hold against us? For what reason did you choose this of all crusades?
I detest cravens who would proclaim their courage, and I like nothing better than to crush them. That is my reason.
Oh my god. Get a hobby. My guy, please get off of Reddit. I beg you.
Well, the fixity of your purpose is clear, even if your reasoning is not. So be it. Suffice it to say, you will not have your way without a fight. Oh, but do not presume that I will be your opponent. No, you must face the Lancer over whom you so grandly proclaimed mentorship, the one among us whose potential you condescend to acknowledge. Brick shall represent us all. As guild master, I wager the fate of the guild upon his lance. Ha! Do as you will, coward. It is your guild to throw away. You may even set the terms of the contest. Very well. Brick here is to undertake a trial. I challenge you to complete the task before he does.
Can't I just kick his ass? Okay.
You are to travel to Ishgard and prove your courage before the Lord of the Bramble Patch. He is a giant among boars, unrivaled in strength and savagery, and ruler over all his kind. You must go before this fearsome creature and stand your ground. Know, though, that the Lord of the Bramble Patch will not grant an audience to just anyone. You must needs present him an offering of the bloody tusks of his subjects, the wild boars that inhabit his domain. When you have prepared your offering, leave it upon an area of trampled earth. Drawn to the stench of blood, the Lord of the Bramble Patch will soon appear. That is all. Are there any questions? No. Then let the trial commence.
Yeah, alright. I think this is something else. This is something very different. What the hell? Whoops. That's the danger of picking up all of the quests. I do appreciate that it's Hrothgar, though. Oh, Brick with your goofy little run.
Out of my way, or I'll gut ya!
Oh man, I'm gonna be underleveled for this, aren't I? Let's just make sure I'm not, shall we? Hello. Yeah, oh boy, I would have been underleveled for that. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that.
I hope you're having fun this exists.
Oh yes, I mean the continued existence of Ul'dah is a thorn in my side, to be clear, but hopefully one of these expansions will get rid of it. Anyway, I'll take the experience for the Lancer though. Wait, no, I'm just gonna leave him. he can just sit there. There's the trampled earth. just sit there bleeding out for like another 30 or 40 hours until I decide I want to play the Gunbreaker. Sorry, dude, I'll see you in 3 years when I get to Shadowbringers. Also, can't help but notice, Mr. Falk, that, fine folk. I can't help but notice that you didn't bring any goddamn tusks. Just saying.
I will defeat you, monster! Ah!
Nope. Aw. Yeet! Yeah, exactly. Do you get it? See? Because he's reckless, and that means that he's bad. But I'm not reckless. I stand my ground, and I am determined, and I... composure, something. And therefore...
You shan't find much sport in these two. Come back another day, my friend.
Did you just send us to, like, stab him, like, 400 times? For fun? We stabbed him a lot.
Well done, Brick. You have completed the trial. I trust you now see the truth in my words. Hurling yourself into the midst of danger is not courage, it is folly.
No, this proves nothing. I refuse to accept.
You refuse to accept the weakness within you.
Ooh, that was a little bit of bespoke animation, I believe.
No, Brick, leave him be. Your work here is done. Return to the guild. I shall see you there presently.
Oh, no, Salthia. Like, you don't talk to like, anime villains. You just kind of defeat them multiple times, and then eventually they just sort of vaguely ease into becoming your friend. And then, after a little while, they will become the surrogate father figure to your child, and a substantially better dad than you will ever be. And then, there'll be a fan-favorite character who never wins any fights forever, ever again in the history of the entire series. That's basically how it works.
I will not lie to you. You are no match for the Lord of the Bramble Patch. Had you betrayed any hint of fear, he would have gored you in the space of a moment and feasted on your entrails. But you stood your ground, holding fast to your composure and resolve. Thus were you able to stare terror in the face and survive unscathed. Well done, Brick. You have overcome the greatest hurdle in the quest to become a master of your own courage. You may now bring to bear the full extent of your abilities upon even the mightiest of foes. As for Folks, well, if there is a shred of reason left in him, he will have learned the self-same... goddammit, I clicked excellently. Lesson blah blah blah, go forth, prepare for further trials, etc. I'm prepared for further trials. It is good to see you again, Brick, and stronger than when last we spoke.
No, same strength, just...
Plainly, you have devoted many hours to training, which is just as well, for I have a mind to set to you your next task. At the Bramble Patch, you came to grasp the true meaning of courage. I would have you put that courage to the proof before 3 masters of our art. In the many years since they began their training within these walls, these men have led very different lives, yet share the distinction of being regarded amongst the finest lancers of their time. And just as they once looked to their seniors for inspiration, so too shall you look to them. By availing yourself of their wisdom, you will take another step toward becoming a fully fledged lancer. Your first instructor is a man named Mathiomi. Seek him out at Emerise's spire in the East Shroud, where he serves as a frontier sentry. The long years at his post have honed Mathiomi's perception. No detail escapes the man's piercing gaze. Present yourself before him for inspection, Brick, and do as he aids you.
You must be the young lancer I was told to expect. Greetings and well met. I am Mathiomi, commander of the brave men and women of this spire. Now let's have a good look at you. I see. You possess strength and skill in abundance. Of this there is no doubt, but you still want for experience. Oh, but I don't doubt that you've seen much and more. Mayhap you believe there is naught left out there to unnerve you. Yet the world is wide, and only the gods can claim to know all. You may be assured that the legendary lancers of old faltered at times. No lancer, nor any man, can foresee all possibilities, but he can steel himself for the unexpected. I would have you do just that. Take this bottle of fresh-spoken blood.
Why do you have that? What? No, hang on. No. We're not moving on from this right now. Why do you just have a bottle of fresh blood? Like, I could understand if you had like a bottle of preserved blood, like a bottle of like blood that was like sealed up tight so that it would still be liquid, even if like congealed. But why do you have a? Okay, you know what? Let's not ask any questions.
And sprinkle it at the foot of the great tree to the north. Doing so will lure out creatures of the night, which you are to vanquish. Welcome back, son, and well done. I bore witness to your battle with mine own eyes. The bloodbat bewilders its prey with its ceaseless flittering, which makes putting a spear in the beast an exercise in frustration. Frustration that may easily have given rise to panic. Yet to your credit, you fought on resolutely and thus emerged the victor.
Well, yeah. Skyen, gonna take the opportunity to please ask you to stream Hi-Fi Rush. It's got great animations, cool character design, and streamer mode, so you don't have to worry about copyrighted songs. I don't know if I'm going to stream that, Niras. That's one of the games I've kind of kept my eye on for, like, a personal game that I'll play just for myself and not for, content. But I definitely have my eyes on that game.
Egwene has taught you well, young one. You have a ways to go, to be sure, but beneath those rough-hewn edges, I see the makings of a great lancer. With my blessing, make your way to Baskaran's druthers in the South Shroud. It is there that your next instructor, Baskaran himself, awaits. The man had a unique approach to our art. Though it's a fair while since he's hung up his spear, his words are well worth hearing. Indeed, lancers visit him as much for his counsel as they do his mead, good though it is. By meeting Baskaran and availing yourself of his knowledge, your lance work will surely improve.
Hey, Baskaran, I remember him.
Well, if it is Divine's protege, I thought it was about time you arrived. I am Baskaran, and this here's my place in case you're wondering why Lower Luen sent ya. I should mention I've not always been the food and drink business.
Baskaran, you know me. Like, we've already been through like a million things. Okay.
Before I opened the druthers, I manned an outpost not far from here. Any rot, between keeping throats wet and bellies full, I ain't got a great deal of time to chat just now, so if you don't mind, I'll get on with educating you. Now take this nice bottle of full flower meat. Wait, don't open it. This ain't that kind of lesson. No, I want you to make an offering of it, Miss Styles' lands, which is a monument tucked away in a rocky cliff to the south of here. See the bottle safely there, complete with its contents, and when you come back, I'll tell you a story. Got all that? Good.
Done.
So you offered up the meat as I told you, and without drinking a drop. Very well. You should have a tale of me, as I promised. Mistal is the man who founded the Lancers Guild, and the monument I sent you to was erected in his honor. Mistal was courage made flesh. Cut him and I dare say he'd have bled the stuff. It was him who first identified the two aspects of a lancer's courage, as well as how to go about tempering them. And that weren't all he did. Seeing as how the art had gone stale, what with our lancers keeping the confines of the Twales Woods, he sought to bring in new techniques and methods from faraway lands. But Gridania was a different place back in his day. The outside world was a thing to be shunned back then, and none forest-born was considered fatherless savages. Aye, and it was even worse than...
By the way, apologies to... Except for England, the entirety of the British Isles.
Aye, what's even worse than now? Of course, old Mistal wasn't afraid to call that way of thinking what it was. A load of cowardice and ignorance. To cut a long story short, despite a forest full of good old Gridanian stubbornness, he finally convinced the nation to open its doors to foreign lancers, and by blending their techniques with his own, he gave the world the art to which now you practice. To this day, the Lancers Guild accepts students regardless of their origin. That wouldn't have been possible if it hadn't been for Miss Dale. Us Lancers owe him much and more, and now is our charge to carry his legacy. Never forget that. What's that? When's the trial? Much as I hate to disappoint, there isn't one. Your courage was never in doubt, son. My part in your training's done. It's just time you visited your third and final instructor, a fellow named Voxclair. You'll find him whiling away his time at the Bokken in Cork, like as not. Oh, that's the name of an inn in Falgort Float, in case you don't know. Up in the North Shroud it is. Voxclair's an old rival of mine. Me and him used to go at it till neither man could lift his spear tip off the ground. I warn you, he was a right stubborn bugger back then, and the years ain't done much to improve his humours. So, good luck with impressing him.
Okay.
Gonna become a Dragoon soon, Dragoon, soon, Dragoon. I take it you are the young lancer of whom events spoke, and an adventurer besides, by the look of you. I was an adventurer myself once. That was before I became a lance for hire. But enough idle talk. You have come to learn from me and learn from me you shall. Be warned, though you will not find me as lenient and sinister as the others. Now pay attention. Thus far, you have learned to master your courage in situations of fear, panic, and uncertainty. With me, you will learn to do so in the face of change. The enemy is a living thing, and living things are apt to change. Whatever the nature of that change, a lancer must be able to think and adapt, and to think and adapt during battle requires courage. Again, apologies to the nation of friends. To teach you the meaning of my words, I would have you challenge a fiery fiend known as the Red Balloon. However, the creature will appear only as there is a raging flame. You may kindle such a flame by procuring 6 fingers from slain balloons and depositing them as a good campfire. This should suffice to entice the Red Balloon. As the battle wears on, the creature's fury shall burn with ever greater fervor until it is ripe to burst in a conflagration of death. Let courage lend strength to your lance and extinguish this fiery foe.
Okay.
10 bare asses. Got it. Half of Heavensward is just going to be terrible French accents, and I can't wait. I think I'll change it up a little bit. Like, I don't think I'll just do French accents for Heavensward, however tempting it may be. Some of them will be German, yeah. Can toss that. And you'll have a lot of fun watching me, like, have trouble properly distinguishing between German and French accents, because they both share a bunch of linguistic qualities, although neither the French nor the Germans would ever admit that. Especially the French. Wow. They would not admit that at all. At least the conservative ones. Yeah, so you avenged Quiche de Repellon. No less than I would expect from one of your events. Your enemy altered its nature throughout the encounter. I didn't really notice. I killed it too fast, thereby causing the terms of battle to shift repeatedly. Yet ever did you press on? Your courage holding firm in the midst of constant change. So it was that you emerged triumphant. I'm not known for being liberal with my praise, but you have done well. Yours is a genuine courage. Mind you, this does not give you license to forsake your training. You are still but a fledgling among us, after all. Insert Among Us joke. I have finished with you. You may report back to Yvain, and when you do, tell the young upstart that I demand he show his face here from time to time. That is all. Oh no. Oh no, Lalafell Defense Squad. Oh no. Why would you redeem that? No. Oh god. It's bad. Wait, that's a Parisian accent. I promise you, Johnny, that it's not. I promise you that it is not any kind of specific French accent. Like, there's no... This is a French accent coupled together from, like, just hearing bad French accents performed by people. If it's Parisian, then, like, I guess that reflects poorly on the French accent of Paris. And, okay, so you wanted a design review of this disaster. Okay. It could be worse. Like, we have this, like, dull brown on this terrible-looking armor. It's really not very good. Which, like, it goes well enough with the boots, although, like, the color temperature of the brass on the chest plate and the boots is, like... This is gray, that is brown, those don't really mesh together. It's sort of balanced out by the gray chainmail on the torso, but it's like, eh. But, like, generally it's a bunch of, like, soft earth tones and, like, neutral grays, and they sort of blend together well enough and don't really clash with his natural fur color. So it's like, it's alright, but the gloves especially, and you can really see that if we look at, like, a light neutral. Look, the gloves with those really bright, like, really bright yellowish, sort of mustardy color just clashes completely with everything else that's going on. And it's like because the color temperature of these grays is like gunmetal gray. Like, this is really bluish gray, right? Like, you can tell that. It's very cold, whereas the rest of the armor is very warm. So that's doesn't fit together well. It's really only the torso armor and the pants that kind of mesh okay with one another, just because this is such a valueless neutral grayish brown that it doesn't really have it in itself to clash with anything. It just sort of complements things quietly. But oh boy, no, this is a mess. This is terrible. Why did you make me look at it?
All Warclay demands I show my face. I can only assume the buxom brunette of the float isn't lavishing him with the attention he craves. Very well, I shall see what I can do. As for you, Brick, well done. I never doubted that you would meet with the approval of all three men. Yes, yet I am no less proud of you for having done so. You've traveled far along the Lancer's path, and soon you will no longer require my guidance. In fact, you need overcome but one further trial in order to complete your education here. Do so, and I will give you my blessing to leave the Lancers Guild and embark upon a new adventure with spear in hand. As ever, apply yourself to your lance work and return when you are ready for your final challenge. I look forward to our next meeting.
Okay, I'll do that. That'll take me approximately, looks at watch, 5 seconds.
Brick, ever a sight for sore eyes. By your return, I take it you're ready for the final trial. Very well, let us...
Kill Master Yvain! Oh, he's got a helmet on.
You are wounded. What has happened?
Oh, no, I thought he needed to do like a muffled voice. We were attacked, sir, by a Duskwhite Lancer as we trained in the forest. He was impossibly strong, a demon. He kept screaming something about teaching us true courage.
No, not him, not folks.
We were in the northwestern corner of the Central Shroud when it happened. I was able to get away, but the others... You must help the others.
Be strong, man. I'm sorry, Brick, the trial must wait. Pray make haste to the Central Shroud and help your comrades. And Brick, should folks force your hand, do what must be done. 12 speed you on your way.
Go yourself, dude! What the hell? Help! For the love of the 12, help me! Linworms. Interesting. Once again, Norse mythology shows up here. Well, Norse and Germanic, I suppose. A Lindworm, or a Linworm, is a particular kind of serpent/dragon-esque creature set to spew poison and set to be very, like, they're sort of associated with the myths of dragons and serpents guarding hoards of gold.
I owe you my life, friend. Another breath and I would have become worm fodder. A Duskwhite Lancer unleashed the fiends upon us, claiming it would temper our courage. You should have seen the look in his eye when he said it, mad bastard. Huh? Where is he now? Oh, I think he headed off towards the North Shroud. Maybe in direction of Falgard Float? I can't say for sure. I was concentrating on the Scalekin at the time. If the reckoning you seek, you are like to be disappointed. Those of us who managed to outrun the worms will have already alerted the whalers. I dare say the Duskwhite is being held at spear point as we speak, begging for his worthless life in a puddle of his own piss. Serve the bastard right is all.
How bothered exactly should I be that you kept speaking about him in terms of his race? Like, that feels... Like, you could have said the guy, or the man, or the person, like, anything other than... Anything other than his ethnicity, maybe? I mean, not that he's not been, like, doing bastard shit, I'm just saying.
What kept you? Helping your comrades, you say? Fool, you waste your pity on false friends. It is only a matter of time before they betray you. Aye, just like those wretches who saw me imprisoned and exiled. I was once an upright citizen of Gridania and a man of the Lancers Guild. Yet, life was not easy. For want of the coin to obtain the barest necessities, I conspired with my closest comrades to steal from the guild's coffers. The theft soon came to light, and though there were no suspect, it was clear that the deed had been perpetrated by someone within the ranks. An air of suspicion hung heavy over the guild from that day forth, until at last, unable to bear the guilt, I convinced my accomplices to join me in confessing. Only for them to bite their craven tongues after I had stepped forward and admitted my part in the crime. And so it was that I alone took the blame. Of course it was the Duskwite, everyone said. Was there ever any doubt? It all made perfect sense. Despite my heartfelt pleas, my so-called friends denied any involvement. Instead, they called me vulgar names that I do not care to repeat. Can you imagine the shock and anguish I felt at their betrayal? Would that I had had the strength to force the truth out of those traitors. Would that I had had the courage to escape my dungeon cell, even if it meant taking some hapless guard's life. Driven by vengeance and no small amount of self-loathing, I resolved to forge my courage anew. I strode into the lairs of ravenous fiends while drenched in blood. I put their helpless offspring to the spear that I might face the unbridled fury of their kin. For my efforts, I have acquired the ultimate courage. A courage forged amidst danger and tempered by rage. I fear nothing. I am the greatest lancer that has ever lived.
I mean, yeah, that's like a reasonable reason to be very angry. Maybe not so much a reasonable reason to just, like, murder people who weren't involved in it directly, but, you know. Bonk.
Impossible! My courage is absolute! No! Come no closer!
Boy, that was some facial animation. They tried on that facial and they tried. I will give them that. They definitely attempted, but that was a little that undercut the seriousness of the moment a bit. That was before Hildebrand taught them how to animate properly. I mean, the thing is, like, Hildebrand faces are no less silly. Like, Hildebrand faces are exactly as silly. It's just that with Hildebrand, it's appropriate to the tone. So I wouldn't say there's, like, that much of a quality of difference between this and Hildebrand faces, but, Hey, guys. I just saw a man fall to his death. So, adventure time!
So, Fox is no more. His was a tragic tale, and one that might have been so different. Had fate not dealt him such a cruel hand, he could well have commanded a place of honor within these halls.
I mean, yeah. If, like, wow, you know, if racism didn't exist, probably black people would suffer less disproportionate rates of poverty. Keen and incisive insight there, buddy. Yeah, that is how it would work. So what are you gonna do about it? Okay.
But it avails us not to dwell upon that which might have been.
Yeah, just write him off, he's dead.
It's enough that you are still with us, Brick. Lest you wonder about your final trial, there will be none. I've seen all I need to see. You've proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that yours is a genuine courage. In recognition of this, I shall pass to you the secrets of Lance Charge, one of the most potent abilities in our arsenal. You are a Lancer in your own right now. There is none more I can teach you. From here onward, it is up to you to seek out such challenges as will make you grow. Like attracts like, and the strong are drawn to strength. Just as I once knew for a certainty that I was destined to face the Lord of the Bramble Patch, so too will you find, or be found by, an adversary of equal worth. None can say what fate will bring, but armed with your courage, there is naught you need fear. Keep close to your heart the lessons you have learned here and go forth and blaze a new trail with spear in hand.
1.0 had full-blown motion capture cutscenes with lots of points in the model. That was part of why it was so heavy to run on the, at the time, modern systems. Whoops! Yeah, that was probably a production mistake by them. Oh god, that's even uglier. Ta-da! They made a lot of production mistakes with 1.0. Yeah, they did. Grapes, for example. Anyway, Soul of the Dragoon.
Ah, I dare say you might just be the right man for the job.
I'm hoping so, because the job in question is Dragoon.
The guild has urgent need of a capable lancer for a mission beyond our nation's borders. Hear me out, if you will. I've received word from an Ishgardian friend to the effect that he requires our aid. I would have you go and provide that aid. As you may already know, due to her ongoing conflict with the dragons, Ishgard has kept her gates closed to outsiders for some time. The occasional Dragoon on patrol duty is about all folks see these days. In spite of her self-imposed isolation, however, the Holy See has never failed to honor her obligations to her allies. It is only fitting that we answer the call and lend what assistance we can. To this end, we offered to dispatch a contingent of wood whalers with all haste, but were politely informed they would not be welcome, much to our initial confusion. It was later explained that we are dealing with a matter of some sensitivity, best handled by individuals who are capable and trustworthy, yet unbound by allegiance, and who fits that description, save adventurers. Secrecy being paramount, I can provide no details as to the nature of the task. All you need to know will be revealed at the rendezvous point. Should you accept the mission, take yourself to the observatorium. A knight by the name of Sir Alberic will receive you upon arrival.
Okay.
Oh yes, the Warrior of Light, completely unbound by alliances. Yeah, it's not like I'm a Sergeant of the Storm, whatever, in Limsolaminsa or anything. And it's definitely not like I used to be the co-leader of like an independent militia.
Ah, you must be the adventurer of whom Owain sent word. Greetings, and well met. I'm Sir Alberic Bale, Knight of Ishgard. The Holy See is much obliged to you for your aid. Time being of the essence, I shall proceed straight to the heart of the matter. The eye, an Ishgardian relic of immeasurable worth, has been stolen, and we have reason to believe the culprit has come this way. So it is that we ask your assistance in its recovery. The thief has been identified as a man named Estinien, a dragoon sworn to the service of the Holy See. You heard true. The crime was perpetrated by one of our own. Oh, interesting. An individual in a position of trust and no little honor. You may be assured that a fate worse than death awaits him upon capture. My duties to the sea afford me little opportunity to travel far beyond the walls of Ishgard. I must confess to a grave ignorance of recent Gridanian affairs. I was told that a sentry by the name of Logdan might have knowledge of the routes oft taken by Ishgardian fugitives. I would prefer to keep my identity a secret, and thus would have you gather what information you can from the man. We must act quickly, for, you see, Estinien is... But I've already said too much. What matters is that we find our thief and the eye with all haste. When last sighted, Estinien was clad in black armor. Now go, and speak not a word of what I have told you to anyone. Okay. Routes favored by Ishgardian fugitives?
Oh, right.
Now that's a question I don't hear every day. You're not plotting some unsavory act yourself, are you? Even if you were, I doubt you'd make it far. Any road, we caught a few fleeing to the North Shroud, but with Gridania being home to nearly as many Elves as Ishgard, it's no easy task to identify outsiders. If you're on the hunt for someone, you could do worse than visit Florentil Spire in the North Shroud and speak with a man named Tristan. If any suspicious persons have crossed the borders in recent days, he'd be the first to know.
Interesting to hear that Estinien was apparently in the story recently a fugitive, Because the last time I saw him, he was like an honored knight of the Ishgardian whatever. So I'm curious how we go from point B to point A, as it were.
Hail, adventurer! Yes, I am the one tasked with monitoring those who would enter our lands by way of Curthus. Huh? An Ishgardian knight clad in black armor? No, I recall nothing of the sort, and such a striking visitor would be difficult to forget. My apologies, friend. I can only suggest that you return to Lugadanril and see if he has any other theories. Okay, well, I'm getting jerked around a little bit here.
No luck, you say? Most curious. Why, it is not impossible that a fugitive could make it this far without being espied from Florental's spire. Which leaves the possibility that your man is still in Ishgard. It runs counter to good sense. Would the fugitive not want to put distance of grounds between him and his pursuers? But by the process of deduction, it is a possibility. The climes of Ishgard are not kind to drifters and vagabonds. That said, there have been talk of curious smoke wafting from a cave east of here at night. Were I you, I might begin my search there.
Like the cave with the mysterious smoke wasn't like your first thought when you heard, hey, there might be a fugitive. Investigation. Roll a natural 20. That Ishgard would resort to sending coin-starved adventurers after me. I know not whether to laugh or feel insulted. The eye. It rouses for another. Preposterous. Our paths shall cross again. You can be sure of it. Whee! Well, okay. Jumps down, speaks cryptically, refuses to elaborate, jumps away. Oh, hey, guys. A dragoon clad in black, you say? Tell me all that transpired. By the fury, that the eye would choose another. I had not thought it possible. In light of recent events, it would seem that an explanation is in order. The eye is no ordinary relic. It harbors the power of the dragon, which it bestows upon a single chosen soul, the strongest and wisest dragoon. He who was chosen is possessed of the power to fight our mortal foes, the dragons of Travania, on equal footing, soaring the firmament as if it were an extension of the land. That man is known as the Azure Dragoon. The Azure Dragoon is the light of hope for all his guardians, the paragon of all dragoons. For this reason, you may imagine how it pains me to have to confess that the man you encountered, the thief, is none other than the Azure Dragoon, and that I was once his teacher. Needless to say, I acknowledge myself accountable for Estinien's misdeeds, and mean to do all in my power to find him and recover the eye. But I cannot do this alone. I require your help, Brick, you who have received the power of the dragon. You may labor to believe it, but there can be no mistake. The soul of the dragoon I bear glows in your presence, irrefutable proof that you are chosen. What I can ill explain, however, is the why of it. Well, it's because I'm the main character of the reality, is why. Oh, Pocket Paul, thank you for that Prime subscription. That's very kind of you. Never before in Ishgard's long history has the eye roused to more than one individual in a single generation. But it avails... Okay. Big robot. Avails us not to cudgel our brains about it. The fact of the matter is that you are now a vessel for the power of the dragon. That dragon lies yet in slumber, however, and you must needs possess the means to wake it. The soul of the dragoon. I would entrust you with mine, Brick. Like Estinien, I once ruled disguised as the Azure Dragoon, although that power has since become lost to me. It was simply by force of habit that I had hitherto kept the soul upon my person. I have no inkling as to why the eye has seen fit to choose a second, and an outsider like at that. Yet, one thing is clear. None can challenge the Azure Dragoon, and conceivably prevail, save another Azure Dragoon. You are our only hope of bringing Estinien to justice and reclaiming the eye. Of course, I do not ask that you do this unaided. I may be a dragoon no more, but what knowledge I have, I shall gladly impart to you. For indeed, when the time comes that you must face the Azure Dragoon, not less than complete mastery over the power of the dragon will avail you. That a perilous road lies ahead of you, I shall not deny. Knowing this, if you would still lend me your lance, I will teach you to harness the power that has chosen you. Go forth, my young Dragoon, and rouse the dragon within. I look forward to your return.
Yay! I am a Dragoon!
It is pleasing to see how readily the dragon stirs within you. You show great potential, Brick, a potential that may well prove the difference between victory and defeat. Estinien is no ordinary Dragoon. Even when set against the legendary Azures of ages past, the man is considered second to none. Such is his prowess in the fact that the day he was chosen by the Eye, it was proclaimed that Haldrath the Dragon's Eye had been reborn. I mean not to disparage your skills, Brick, but to pursue Estinien in your current state would be tantamount to suicide. As promised, I shall train you in the ways of the Dragoon, and the way that you might face Estinien as an equal. Before we commence, however, it is only fit that you are edified regarding our origins. It all began a millennium past when our forebears resided in the southern plains in humble circumstances. The Fury, impressed by the spirit of our ancestors, decided it was meet that she make them her own. So did she appear before Haldrath's sire, a man of courage and integrity named Thordan, and bade him lead her people to the Promised Land, to what would become the great nation of Ishgard. Ooh, a creation myth! Their journey brought them to a wide chasm, whereupon Thordan and his people set to building a bridge. It was then that a dark shadow descended upon them, the great worm Nidhogg. Heedless of his own safety, Thordan fearlessly charged at the colossal beast. Alas, he was pushed into the chasm by one of his own, a man seduced by the worm, and fell to his death. I see that Ishgard has like a history of dragon fucking. It's not just Shiva. Apparently there was more than one. Taking up his slain sire's lance, Haldrath hurled himself at Nidhogg, even as tears streamed down his face. The confrontation ended when the young man, his hand guided by Halone, landed a mighty thrust that prized out Nidhogg's eye. With a terrible roar of pain, the great worm took wing and fled, while jubilation reigned below. Ishgard's priceless relic is none other than the eye taken from Nidhogg that day. It is a veritable wellspring of dragon power, even so removed from its owner. It can exert control over the hearts of men. Haldrath himself felt its malign influence, but his love of justice brooked no corruption, and he prevailed over the power, claiming it for his own. And so it was that the first Azure Dragoon was born. Being derived from our foe, the power of the dragon is a thing to be loathed. But as Haldrath proved to us all, so long as our hearts burn with justice, we need not fear being taken into thrall. Ah, but what is justice precisely? Justice assumes many shapes and forms, Brick, and none can say that one is greater than another. Well, no, actually, there's like a few things. Like, there's not a lot of moral absolutes necessarily, but there's a few. Like, there's a couple. Just 1, 2, 3, or 10 that I can think of. So long as you hold fast to your beliefs and stay true to yourself, you'll leave no room for the power of the dragon to master you. But enough of history. Let us return our attention to the present. A knight by the name of Sir Bruce Mount will see to the next stage of your training. Seek him out at Witchdrop. Thank you for the stretching reminder. Oh, good grief. Oh, are we doing a... Oh, we are. Very nice. I do believe that's a Demiurge cosplay from Overlord. Very good indeed. That is practically flawlessly executed. Really well done. And just like a nice outfit besides like the red and the black and the white with the black hair. That's just well executed. And it goes well with the chair too, which is always a bonus. Hello, Bruce.
So, the adventurer seeks to become a Dragoon. Sir Alberic speaks of legends and chosen ones, but I would see you prove yourself in a more practical fashion. With your lance, defend yourself! You have some skill, I'll give you that, and the glow of your soul crystal. Perhaps Sir Alberic was not wrong about you after all. Now return to him. Your training here is complete.
Oh, okay. Good training session, bruh. Nice gains. It even extends to the chocobo. Very good. The soul of the dragon grows ever stronger within you, Brick. Clearly your trial was a rousing success. I need only observe your crystal to know as much. Yes, although you have only just begun to walk the path of the Dragoon, it is clear you possess the talent to become Estinien's equal. Go forth and make the powers you've obtained your own. When the time is right, we shall proceed with your training. And this is where I'll need to go and level a little bit, because I believe the next quest is probably level 40. Alberic, my man, I'm a little higher level now. Do you got something for me? You grow stronger, and I speak of more than just the flesh. Aye, you're slowly but surely realizing your potential as your Dragoon. It's heartening to look upon, though I must confess that my presiding feeling is one of relief. You must understand, the mere thought that the Eye would choose an outsider, one who ill comprehends the threat posed by the dragons, fills me with the gravest of misgivings. Yet you have... but I shall say no more, lest flattery impede your improvement. Now, during our last lesson, I enlightened you regarding the origins of Dragoons. You'll recall how Haldrath heroically triumphed over the great worm Nidhogg, and Ishgard came into possession of the Eye. Tell me, Brick, do you believe that these events truly transpired, or are you inclined to believe them fairy tales? I ask you this because few folk have seen dragons in the flesh besides we Ishgardians, and most would just as soon dismiss them as products of the imagination. No, I've seen dragons, I've seen a few. Alas, dragons are no less real than you and I, with Nidhogg's perhaps the most real of all. In the course of its history, Ishgard had suffered the creature's wrath on 8 separate occasions. Oh, I missed the sign request. I shall do this once I'm done talking to him. Each time the great worm rouses, the blood of countless Ishgardians is spilled. Let us revisit the past once more, Brick. The time is 20 summers past, and the place is Dravania. After a century in slumber, Nidhogg awakened once more to assume his reign of terror. Entire villages were razed to the ground, their inhabitants reduced to smoldering ash. Sensing the great worm's unbridled rage, others of his kind began to rouse, and in such numbers as to blot out the sun with their wings. A deep, foreboding darkness swept over Ishgard. Raging infernos painting the belly of the sky an angry red, the agonized screams of the innocents fading into deathly silence. In my station as the Azure Dragoon, I was there through it all, bore witness to all the horrors. But there was no time to offer even a silent prayer. Nidhogg lingered in one place only long enough to lay it to waste, and when he took wing, so too did I pursue him, a man possessed. This game of cat and mouse continued for what seemed an eternity, before I found myself face to face with the great worm. The battle unfolded in a tiny settlement on the Ether Kerthus, raging on for 3 days and 3 nights, with neither side able to gain a decisive advantage. Remaining on my feet by sheer force of will, I realized that it must end now, else it shouldn't end well. Marshalling my last ounce of strength, I wagered all on a single thrust. My lance struck home, burying deep in the ruin of my opponent's empty eye socket. Yet before I could withdraw my weapon, the worm lashed out wildly in its agony, dealing a blow that left me sprawled upon the scorched earth, nigh insensate. In that instant, I thought myself surely doomed, but Halon was not finished with me. Having lost the taste for battle, Nidhogg let loose a blood-curdling roar before fleeing to the sky. The battle was over. While I did not perish from my injuries, they rendered my body unfit to bear the power of the dragon. I was a sure Dragoon no longer. Lying bedridden, my thoughts wandered to all the innocent lives that had been lost, the people I failed to protect. That last conflict with the dragons of Dravania left countless orphans in its wake. Estinien is one of them, the sole survivor of Ferndale, the final village to suffer Nidhogg's wrath. With none left to care for him, I did the only thing I could. I took Estinien as mine own son, instructing him in the ways of the Dragoon when he was of an age to learn. Yet I would not have you think me noble. My actions were born not of compassion, but out of guilt. My guilt at having failed him. But alas, I have also failed him as a father. For what manner of man did I bring him up to be? A thief who would endanger the lives of every one of his countrymen. You heard me right. All of Ishgard may suffer for his crimes. Though we know little and less of the minds of dragons, it is conceivable that the disturbance surrounding his stolen eye will rouse Nidhogg to awaken once more. That his kin have already stirred from their slumber serves as fair warning of that. Time is not on our side. Fortunately, it would seem you are more than ready to embark on your next trial. Make your way to Witchdrop, where the Knight Hustien awaits your arrival. My nation is depending on your break. I see the Batmobiles have assembled. Oh, Lord. It genuinely delights me. Like, it genuinely does. The nonsense that people get up to in the background. So, Yasunte. Oh, those aren't pants. Those aren't pants at all. Those are thighs. Okay, right. Need to parse that for a second. Okay. Again, like playing to my weaknesses here, the simplicity of it all. Like a very simple sort of forest ranger. I would say for the environment here, in particular, maybe pants would be would be appropriate. But in general, yes, I understand that it's for a general environment. Yeah, like a really well put together sort of simple. Shame about the clipping on the tail, but a really well put together sort of simple forest ranger outfit. Like really well coordinated to be like about the bow, right? Like, cause like the bow is the big showpiece, right? Like the big weapon with the glow and all the fancy details, the feathers, and God knows what else is the big showpiece. And then the outfit itself fits so well into like the stereotypical idea of like a forest ranger that coordinates really well. And then the colors are well coordinated too. Like the green glow of the bow fits well with like the general green tone of the cape and cloak and stuff. Again, I think maybe you could do something slightly more extravagant on the main character. Like on the... No, actually, here you go. You got it. Like, if you could find an accessory, something you could wear on your character, like on their wrist or whatever, that had feathers similar to this, you would really cement, like, the connection between the character and the weapon. Like, that would really kind of... That would bring it all the way home. But, like, the flowers in the hair up there... Because I was kind of missing, like, one slightly more extravagant detail on the character. But the flowers in the hair do a good job of that. Like, those, like... Again, those things that sort of mark the character out as more... As a little bit more than meets the eye. You have the feather on the boot down there. That's good. Like, that ties... That ties into the bow. Any more accessories with feathers, any more kind of feather you can get on there, like... would really tie the knot between the bow and the character, but otherwise, that's really well put together. Oh, that's an amazing little bot. That's a really cute design. Little beetle bot. With like a little pacifier in its mouth. Oh, it's a baby bot. It has a pacifier. And a cannon. Yes. When pigs fly, huh? Indeed. Okay. Moving on!
You are one of the ones who would aspire to be Azure Dragoon? Why, you are not even of Ishgard. If you truly possess the power that Sir Alberic sees in you, then prove it to me with your lance. On guard!
There you go, I proved it to you.
That strength. I've not seen its like since Estinien himself stood before me. Mayhaps Sir Alberic has the right of it, after all. Return, and show your crystal to him. I have no doubt he'll be pleased.
I do get the sense that Dragoon training is mostly go-to-place, stab thing, which seems a lot like Lancer training. You have passed yet another trial with flying colors, Bray. The day when you stand before Estinien as an equal is not far off. And when that day comes, the Eye will choose you over the traitor. I have no doubt of this. But we must be patient still. For now, you must continue your training. When you can do no more on your own, seek me out once more. I'm there. Impeccable timing, Bray. A message arrived from Estinien but moments ago, much to my astonishment. He would trade words with us and bid to meet her in Boulder Downs. As to his true intentions, I cannot say. It may well be a trap, but we must go nonetheless. I trust I can count upon your company. Okay. Standing precariously on the edges of things. Excellent. Edgelord stuff. Greetings, Master. It has been too long. Estinien, end this folly at once. You must know that each second the Eye passes outside Ishgard's walls brings us closer to the repeat of the tragedy 20 summers past. Surrender yourself and the Eye, and return with me to Ishgard before it's too late.
Ah, but it is already too late, Master. For you see, Nidhogg has already awakened.
What?
Hear me, Master. You have mistaken the cause of the dragon's return. The Eye is not to blame. A premonition came to me by virtue of the dragon within, warning me that the great worm would soon rouse. Even as he slumbered, Nidhogg seethed with irrepressible rancor for that wound of 20 years ago. That rancor will send him flying as a speeding arrow to Ishgard, whereupon death and devastation will ensue. But there is a possible solution. Were the Eye taken to a remote land, far from the Holy See, then, and only then, could destruction be averted, and the lives of innocent Ishgardians be spared.
You mean to make bait of yourself? Nay, there's more to this than you let on. You seek vengeance for Ferndale.
To me, the two are one and the same. You know my past better than any else. It was for no other reason than to avenge my family that I became a Dragoon. Dragons long outlive men and do not soon forget the wrongs done to them. What grudge they harbor burns as a fire in their hearts, over time swelling into an unquenchable inferno. You need only look back on history to see that Nidhogg grows stronger with each awakening. When he last darkened our skies, the great worm came within a hair's breadth of laying waste to Ishgard. Not short of death will prevent him from completing his mission when next he wakes. Nidhogg took everything from me. Now I shall take everything from him, even if it means my life. The Eye works in ways men can ill comprehend, but this much is plain. In choosing two Azure Dragoons in one generation, it means for us to join together in common cause. Adventurer, you have heard my resolution. Now that I ask, you lend me your power. Aye, the power of the dragon. The long and proud history of Ishgard. Never before have two Azure Dragoons arisen in the same era to fight as one. This is our best, nay, our only chance to send the great worm to an eternal slumber. Behold my armor. This is the Draken mail, forged in the lifeblood of dragons. As blood calls to blood, so too does the armor call to the dragon within, redoubling the wearer's strength thereby. If you would realize your potential as an Azure Dragoon, you must needs clad yourself in the same.
Clothe. Clad is past tense.
Clad so, you will inherit the technique passed from Azure Dragoon to Azure Dragoon through the generations. Then, and only then, will your training be complete.
Yeah, look at my drip, Warrior of Light. Look at my sick fit.
But first, you must win the Draken Mail, as I and Sir Alberic did before you, by proving yourself worthy in the ultimate trial of the Azure. A series of battles so harrowing as to send the unworthy to an early demise. Master, once the adventurer acquires the armor, pray see to it that he learns to harness the power of the dragon in full.
Estinien, wait!
Save your worries. I do not mean to make myself easy prey for dragons. I take my leave of you.
So, in Final Fantasy history, the Dragoon, tends to occupy this particular kind of narrative space, right? Most famously, Kain in Final Fantasy IV was this exact kind of edgelord, always sort of mysterious and enigmatic, never quite letting on his full intentions, always walking on the edge of darkness, being sort of good sometimes, evil other times, this sort of attempt at a very complex characterization. And that seems to be something that they're calling back to with Estinien here. that he's sort of enigmatic, and like his motives are good, but his actions are not like really super great, and so on and so forth. Tiny rat analysis. Oh, you mean my companion? My little friend, my buddy. Well, the number one thing is adorable, or she's adorable. You can tell when a rat is a boy, and she is not a boy, because that would probably, well, that probably gets censored. She's just tiny and adorable. Look at her. Look at her with a little tail and a little fat body, like a potato body, and the big ears, and the long snooter, and the eyes. Just a cutesy, just a cute little thing. Just a little cutie. Just a adorable little perfect friend who I love. Look at you. I do wish you could get more different, like, there are so many color varieties of rats and coats and stuff that they can have. Be cool if you could get that. The proportions aren't quite rat-like. No, they're not. Not at all. The face of this particular rat is more like a shrew than a rat. The same thing with the hind legs and the tail. Rat tails aren't quite that thick, and they don't taper quite in that way. And they're also not prehensile, as this tail clearly is. Rat tails, like, are not quite as controllable as that. So, like, it is mixing in, like, the features of a shrew, and a little bit, I would say, of something like an echidna, almost, like in terms of the way the face is constructed. Still, tiny, adorable, perfect baby. Estinien. Forgive me, I was deep in thought. Now then, as to acquiring the armor of which Estinien spoke. At first, it was my intention to bequeath mine own armor to you. I am an Azure Dragoon no longer, and its powers are wasted on me. It would be simple enough to hand it over to you and complete your training right here and now. So let's do that. Let's do that. Just give me the experience, give me the armor, and then we're done. But it is as Estinien said. The Dragon armor is no ordinary set of mail. Its strength derives from dragon blood from whence it came. The blood's power resonating with the soul of the wearer. Though I can no longer draw upon my own armor's power, its bond to me was forged years ago. Were I to bestow it on you now, I feared would offer but a scintilla of the protection it afforded me in the bygone days. Estinien has the right of it. You must claim your armor as he and I did before you. You must complete the tasks of the Azure, that the powers of the dragon armor be yours and yours alone. The ogre's belly will be where your final test begins. I shall dispatch your Bruceman there. Seek him out upon your arrival. Okay. I am going to seek him out. I am going to arrive there, and then seek. I do wonder how Hrothgar look with that armor. Because, like, on Estinien, like, certainly on like, an Elezen, that armor seems designed to be sleek. Like, it has, like, all these very smooth surfaces. And I can't help but wonder if a brick shithouse like a Hrothgar might not look a little tiny bit awkward. But I guess we'll find out.
You've grown strong since we last met, adventurer, but you pale in comparison with your Azure forebears. If you would prove me wrong, let your lance do the talking.
Oh, look at that. Would you look at that? You wanted me to go and stab something. That's how we do the thing. Hey, Darth Swain, thank you for subscribing. That's very kind of you. Anyway, hand over the armor, please.
Once again, adventurer, you prove yourself worthy beyond my expectations. Take this, but know that your trial has only just begun. Your next challenge lies in the chamber beyond. Sir Estinien awaits you there. You, a foreigner, would don the dragon armor? Then prove to us that you will not do it dishonor. Sir Alberic said the Eye had chosen you, and it would appear he speaks true. The armor is yours. Wear it with pride and honor. Your trial is nigh complete, but be forewarned. Many before you have made it this far only to fail at the final challenge. Do not let overconfidence be your downfall.
Wow, really? The final trial is the hardest one? I thought it was gonna be like the one where you just like show up and like, a surprise, we have a cake for you. You don't have to fight anything, it's just cake.
So, you've made it this far. Very well. Prove yourself worthy of the Azure, or die in the effort. You've demonstrated your powers to me beyond a doubt. Aye, there's not an Ishgardian who would gainsay your right to don the armor of dragons. I shall send word ahead to Sir Alberic that you passed your trials here. It is he who will present you with the 4th piece of armor and consummate your training. Go now, my fellow Dragoon, and deliver this land from the Great Worm's wrath.
Okay. I'm always delivering things. This is a side quest where you literally become a delivery man. That does sound kind of funny. I heard from Sir Bruceman that you perform most impressively. Oh, oops, I'm standing very close to him. It's like, give me the fucking armor, little man. Most impressive. Yes, I stand more convinced than ever that you will be the one to save our land. Yet be warned, Brick, one last trial awaits you. You will face this trial in the presence not of knights, but of ghosts. Make your way towards the steel vigil and seek out a gravestone north and west of the structure. Take with you this flute, and when you reach your destination, blow a single strong note. A visitor shall soon arrive. Entertain your guest, and he should leave behind a present. Return it here to me. Ooh. Oh, that's really cool. That's got, like, really sort of classic high fantasy anime vibes to it. Like, the sort of, like, the very kind of, like, a really simple design. And just, like, one really strong central color theory, like, or color identity running through it. Like, just red. Just red on red with the red hair and, like, the warm skin tone. And then, like, just to, yeah, just, like, balancing it out. That, shit, that's just really strong. Like, that's just a really strong character design. And I do like having the axe be pretty simple. Like, not having a super elaborate, like, crazy fantasy weapon thing going on. Like, could you draw it? Like, does it have a glow? Or is it, like, completely neutral? Because, like, I think completely neutral works well with this. Like, if it's just flat the way it is. Like there's no, yeah, no bells and whistles, no nothing. Just the axe, and like, so because, which is also all dark, like lots of dark colors there. It doesn't stand out against it, so the whole attention is just caught by that huge splash of red that the whole outfit is. But it's not gaudy, right? Like, it's not super oversaturated or like bright. It's the color of blood, right? Like, that's, yeah, that's really strong. Like, that's really solid for a warrior character design. That's really solid for that. Yeah, that's excellent. Good, nice boots, too. That was a good fit. Man, that's just excellent. That's just really good. Like, it's not overcomplicated. It's just basic, solid character design happening here. Like, that's a character, right? Like, that's not just someone who happens to be an NPC who's standing around or whatever. That's a character. You see that immediately. Just because it has, like, that one really strong color identity that sort of guides the entirety of the design. That's really cool. That's really well done. The axe is simple, but also looks threatening as hell. Yes! That's the other thing. It looks like a very vicious axe. Like, it looks like a very practical... It's not practical, obviously. No weapon in Final Fantasy really is practical, but it looks like just like a simple, this axe is designed to kill people kind of weapon. And that's kind of what I was driving at with the thing of, like, no bells and whistles. It doesn't look like an ancient artifact weapon from beyond the veils of time that was pulled out of a stone in a legendary cave inhabited by the ghosts of a death king or whatever. It just looks like, I got this axe from a blacksmith. It's really fucking good at killing people. That's all that's to it, right? Your presence before me indicates that you've seen to the visitor. Have you aught to show for your deeds? Yeah, here. Aye, the skull of Greywine, old warrior of the Dravanian horde. It's said that in ages past he could bring down a castle with a single breath. His strength has dwindled since those days, but a dragon past his prime is a formidable foe nonetheless. In slaying him, you've proven yourself worthy of this. You now possess 4 pieces of the armor that Estinien, myself, and our forebears did wear. While you doubtless wonder about the 5th, I can tell you only that it is not mine to give. Fear not, however, your triumphs in the trials and against the dragon of the Horde give evidence that Dragon blood now resonates with yours. Yes, you stand before me, as prepared for your ultimate challenge as any could be. And yet, before we proceed, I would hear it from your own lips. The Great Worm's power is the stuff of legends. Have you truly resolved to fight this battle? To risk your own life to deliver a foreign land from the clutches of its ancient foe? When you are certain that your mind is settled, return and speak with me. Oh, where did the tiny airship go? I kind of wanted to have a look at it. Oh well. Oh, hang on. There you are. I think that's like a... Is that specifically a Final Fantasy 5 or 4 airship? No, I don't think it is. It's just a generic airship. Still, that's very cute. That's an adorable little mount. So, you would join your strength to Estiniens, that Ishgard might be free from the rage of the Great Worm forevermore? Then, I shall honor my promise. You shall have full use of your powers by the time we're done. Before we begin, there's something I must needs confess. You will recall the tale of my battle with Nidhogg 20 years past, and how the power of the dragon left me on account of the injuries I sustained. What I said was an untruth. The power did not abandon me, Brick. It was I who abandoned it. Being derived from our mortal enemies, the power of the Dragoon is a double-edged sword. Even as it lends us the strength we need to smite dragons, it heightens our communion with the creatures, rendering our minds more susceptible to the seduction, than ordinary. He's about to confess that he fucked Nidhogg, isn't he? Even as I buried my lands in Nidhogg's flesh, our gazes locked, and mine eyes met with a look that would fair impale a man. In that instant, I found myself assailed by a torrent of emotions not mine. Okay, you fucked the dragon. You definitely fucked the dragon. 100% you fucked the dragon. Darth Swain had verification issues, so this comment is really late. But I'll have you know that my hollow book frame is an incredibly practical weapon. Sorrow, rancor, pity. They threaten to drown the man in me and leave behind a dragon. Yeah, the dragon poured all of his thing into you and like almost... Yeah, no, this is... This is some monster fuckery right here. Fearing that I might turn traitor, I chose to purge myself of the power that the eye had bestowed upon me. Thus, regaining lucidity, I was able to rout the grievously wounded Nidhogg. Alas, countless of his brethren yet remained. As if to mock me, they fell upon Ferndale with a vengeance. Bereft of my power, it was all that I could do to save but one child. Nary a soul knows of this, nay, not even Estinien, but I can keep him in the dark no longer. At our last meeting, Estinien said that protecting Ishgard and extracting revenge upon Nidhogg are as one to him. That frame of mind, I fear, may well lead to his demise. The desire to protect and the desire to avenge are opposing forces that can ill be reconciled. Worse, the latter only serves to cloud his sense of self. When next Estinien and I meet, I intend to confess all, though it mean the loss of his good opinion. The outcome of the coming battle, and his very life, may well depend upon his readiness to relinquish his powers. Never allow yourself to forget the origin of your strength. Ever does the dragon lurk behind your eyes, biding its time, ready to claim you for its own. Oh boy, yeah, claim me, Dragon Daddy. Aught less than complete conviction, you will find yourself in its vice-like clutches. So forewarned, let us return to our present endeavor. Oh, Vamanas, that is a killer outfit. My promise to Estinien was that I would impart to you the technique that will mark you as a true Azure Dragoon. If you would know the truth, however, this knowledge is not within my power to bestow. No, you must claim the technique as much as you claim the fourth piece of the armor that you bear, by proving yourself in battle with the dragons whose power you would unite with your own. I entrust you with this flute once more. Take it to the southwest of Providence Point and blow a single note. By locking wills with your adversary and prevailing, you will prove yourself the champion to the cause to which your lands are sworn. The dragon within you shall then awaken. Yeah, I've got a dragon inside me right now. I recognize that. Why do I recognize that? Where is that from? Why do I recognize? I think it's a Final Fantasy VI something. But like, dude, that is drip. Like, that's some mother Final Fantasy VI. Yes, it's Air Force. It's Air Force. I knew I recognized it. But that is killer drip right there. Like, that is... Hell yeah. Like, just all the jewelry and, like, all the ornamentation. Like, this is sort of like... This is the opposite of, like, what I've talked about many times. Like, this thing of, like, oh, yes, like, you make a basic character design, you have, like, one outstanding feature. No, no, no. This is, like, maximalism, right? Like, if that's minimalism, this is maximalism. This is, like, everything is the most, right? Like, everything is the most extra. Everything goes hard. Like, color in the hair, we got feathers in the head. Like, just everything goes hard. And that also works. Like, that's also really fun. Like, yeah. That works. That's killer. That's a great outfit. It's so complicated that it goes back to being simple in the brain. Kind of. Because, like, when you overload on so much detail, like, the thing that can happen that's bad is that the design becomes indistinct and incoherent. Like, it just becomes noise, right? Like, it just becomes too much detail, and it's, like, visual white noise. You do have to be careful of that. Like, you can absolutely overload, and to avoid that is mostly a question of, like, making sure that you have different color values, that you have different, like, what's it called? Luminosity values. That you don't, like, let everything sort of flow together into one thing. And, like, that particular Hrothgar, like, had the dark skin that stands out nicely against the, like, the really bright colors that were at work. Like, the outfit itself had, like, a dark base against which all the extra shit could stand out, right? Like, so it was well composed in that way. I also like the blue tinged plume with my red tinged hair. Yeah, like those little contrasts, like those colors sort of clashing with each other. If you use it sparingly, like returning to Fire Emblem Engage, right? Like, with the main character there is like this completely organized around this red and blue color scheme, right? That clashes so strongly with each other, which makes the character stand out for sure. Like, you can't ignore them. Whenever they're anywhere, they are unignorable. Aw, hamster. And Space Whale, but it also becomes way too much, right? Like, at least I think so. It is good to see you safely returned. I take from your bearing that the engagement went favorably. Yeah, here you go. You left this place as a man, Brick, but you return as a dragon. Oh, I have tranced my gender, I see. My new gender is dragon. There's no more left for me to teach you. From here, your battle is yours and yours alone. Now, you might recall me saying that the fifth and final piece of the Draken armor was not mine to give. However, that's not wholly true. I could guide you in the direction of that which you seek. Yet I have reservations. The sheer power of the dragon housed within is so great that many of your Azure forebears, myself among them, have proven hopelessly incapable of wearing it. But I do not doubt what I see. Within you has awakened a strength that forever eluded the likes of me. If you are not worthy of wearing the armor, then I know none who are. Remember my warning to you, Brick, and heed it well. Nidhogg is a lord among his kind. Aught less than complete conviction, and you will surely fall under his thrall. Before you can master your foe, you must needs master yourself. Hone your lance till it can bear no further honing, then present yourself to me. I look forward to our next meeting, my young Dragoon. I mean, it is now canon, apparently, that all Dragoons are trans, and they are trans, specifically dragons. Ah, Brick, an urgent message arrived from Estinien in your absence. He bids you come at once to the Steel Vigil. It would seem Nidhogg is on the move, and rather sooner than he anticipated. It appears you have not yet fully become master of the dragon within you, and yet we are racing against time. I fear we have no choice but to do battle to the best of your current abilities, and without the dragon mail I promised. Now let us away. Estinien must know the truth of Ferndale, lest he fall for the great worm's seduction. Und then we ride the motorbike all the way up to the dragon, yeah. Und once we have the dragon, we shall slay him with the spear by stabbing him many times. And then we shall be a true dragoon, yeah. Moogle fork. Alberic, I have waited long for this day. You, who fancy yourself an assured dragoon, the man whose cause you have taken for your own is a coward. He relinquished the power of the dragon of his own volition and watched as Ferndale burned. Do you not think it ironic that I was chosen as your dragoon? I, an orphan who has not a value to protect in Ishgard. I suppose I must give thanks, for it was the eye that revealed to me the truth. A truth so damning as to undo a lifetime of trust. I loved you as a father, but I can ill forgive you for Ferndale. As I understand it, you've kept even the Archbishop in the dark regarding the missing... Oh, no, that's not Alberic. As I understand it, you've kept even the Archbishop in the dark regarding the missing eye. Do you mean to take your shame to the grave? But I waste my breath. Prepare yourself, old man, for I shall lay waste to all the things you hold dear, and once I'm finished with you, I shall do what no assured dragoon has succeeded in doing. I shall claim Nidhogg's head. Calm yourself, Estinien. Your rage renders you vulnerable to the dragon's influence. Brick. Like him with his edgelord dark spear of evil dark grim darkness, and then there's me. In you, I thought I'd found kindred, someone beside whom I could fight the Great Worm. It is with a heavy heart that I must relinquish that dream. Your affection to this coward has rendered you deaf to your own destiny. Very well. That we would one day cross lances was inevitable from the moment of our first meeting. As we shall now find out who is the Eye's true chosen, there can be only one.
Feeble creature, dost thou desire power? Look to thine anger and to thy hatred. It is there thou shalt find it.
O mighty Nidhogg, Lord of Dragons! Grant unto me thy blood, that I might be granted claws and fangs wherewith to rend thine enemies! Oh, buddy. What? Prick. This is impossible. It cannot be.
The hell? Yeah, that's a tight fit for an armor.
Forgive me, Estinien. I have failed you once again. I am fine, Brick. Somewhat shaken, but otherwise whole of body. Suffice it to say, I have much to reflect upon. Let us return to the observatorium.
The soul of the Dragoon shines with unbound radiance. Hooray! I don't think it's ever actually explained how Estinien got from where this quest ends to where you meet him in the main story. Really? They never touch on that? At all? That seems like a... Seems like a big thing not to, Yeah, he got better. Yeah, just, he got better. Like, whatever. Thanks. He like took a couple of Advil. He laid down for a while. Just a bad cold.
When the herald being of darkness closed upon us, you appeared to me the spitting image of Haldrath the Dragon's Eye, just as he's depicted in Holy Scriptures. I thought mayhap the years had taken their toll on my mind, but behold, the soul of the Dragoon shines as it never did in all the years I bore it. It would seem that you have achieved that which was thought impossible. You have awakened to the ability that none but the first Azure Dragoon possessed. Truly, a momentous achievement. I can scarce believe that you were able to summon the self-same Drakenmail one by Haldrath. To think that it had been sealed within the soul crystal all this time. I have borne witness to many and more wonders over the years, yet none compares to you, my young Dragoon. Could it be that you are
The main character of reality. Yes, we've been over this.
Mark not my mutterings. I'm certain that it was your indomitable sense of justice that resonated with the spirit of the Azure First Dragoon, or First Azure Dragoon, prompting him to bestow the armor upon you. Yes, that is doubtless what happened. As the being of darkness faded, so too did Nidhogg's aura subside. And now his kind have ceased their stirring. Whether this was compelled by your awakening, I cannot say. I suspect we'll learn the truth of it eventually. Estinien, my dear boy, whatever becomes of him, he will ever be as a son to me. I pray that he's somewhere out there still, and that he's not wholly forgotten the great man that he once was. When that darkness brushed against me, the same self-same torrent of emotions swept over me, as those I experienced 20 summers past. But there was something else besides. There was a voice, and it lamented the rift that divides dragons and men. You will come to comprehend what I speak in due time. Till then, Brick, I pray that you will ever use your newfound strength in the name of justice.
Hooray! La 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 la. Dragonfire Dive.
This concludes the Dragoon quests. You must blah blah before the dawn, blah blah Dragoon quest Alberic.
Hi, sorry, I'm just going to interrupt the game for a second here to tell you that Jane, my lovely editor who makes these episodes so nice, has written a book with their wife Laura Kate Dale called Who Hunts the Whale. It's a satirical novel about working in the games industry, exploring the absurd realities of working in AAA games development, the strange and disheartening issues that burn people out, and even what might possibly be done about them. It comes out on February 16th, and if you need something to read, hey, I recommend it. Anyway, back to Eorzea. Okay, let's just look at what the whole Drakenmail thing looks like. Yeah, I mean, that would probably look better on a character of a smaller frame. I feel like for Brick, like, this is a little bit unwieldy. But oh well, I'm gonna be replacing it with with the best available gear from the Ironworks soon anyway. I mean, that clashes a little bit with, like, you see the cool color tone on all of this, like, compared with, like, bricks. This is the thing of, like, if he could just wear the goddamn helmet, this wouldn't be a problem, but the color tone mismatch here is just, no. Too much. Too much indeed. Oh, good lord. Well, that took a damn sight longer than I wanted it to. Okay, after many trials and tribulations and a lot of help from these fine folks here and some more besides, managed to get our ass through the Dragoon quests, see that little bit of story for dear Estinien that, according to chat, will never be resolved. So now, finally at long last, we are ready to head into Heavensward itself, marking, I suppose, finally, the end of a realm reborn in this particular series. So if you've been watching all the videos, whether on YouTube or whether you've been watching along on Twitch, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it a lot. And, yeah, look for, if you're on YouTube, I'm gonna make a new playlist for Heavensward, so that, like, Realm Reborn stays in its own playlist, and then Heavensward gets its own, new playlist going forward, just to sort of organize things a little bit. Yeah, I know I still have 6 jobs left to go to 50. I know, Sipialti. I know, but I want to play Heavensward now! So, like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on Twitch if you want to watch the VODs, including all of the stuff that doesn't go in the episodes, like the long dungeon runs and the extended discussion of the character design of Fire Emblem games that happened in this particular episode. That's on the Twitch VODs. You can subscribe to get access to those. I think that's all the self-promotion. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to be kind to one another. Have solidarity with those who are worse off than yourselves. And may the tides of history wash gently over us all.